I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wonder what's in this up. It's not blessing, I'ma no be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. I say nobody feel make me feel the way you do. I'ma get that low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. Money go check low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. They never know. They never know. My lady, you know me, no forgive up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward ever, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. Money go check low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wonder what's in this up. It's not blessing, I'ma no be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. I say nobody feel make me feel the way you do. I'ma get that low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. Money go check low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move, they never know. 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 They never know.
Let's go. Check 1, 2. Hi, everybody. Sorry for being late. There we go. We're back on the Hohner YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Let us know from where you're tuning in the chat. Let us know if you can hear ourselves. And yeah, Thursday evening. This is episode 112. I'm excited about today's guest. This is the first time we meet each other. And excited about getting to know him and talk shop and talk about music. And if you got questions in the chat, let us know. So please welcome with me from Winchester right now. This is Will Pound, multi-instrumentalist. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, how you doing, everyone? Good to see you.
That's so cool. Because usually, I mean, sometimes I find some harmonica players online or on Instagram. And this time, not gonna lie, somebody from Hohner told me about you.
Yeah. Who was that? I'm intrigued now.
I think it was Gerhard, and he was like, "Oh yeah, check him out."
Oh, great. Thanks for the recommendation.
So that's super cool, because I didn't know about you for some reason. But you play so many different instruments.
Yeah, I do. I play. I mean, harmonica is my main instrument. You know, it's the one I played the longest.
Yeah.
But I also play the squeeze box, the diatonic accordion, because it works in a similar way. You know,
so that's what you
to the harmonica.
Also call melodeon.
Melodeon, yeah. It's quite strange. It's called different names in different countries, even though it's the same instrument essentially. So in Italy, called a diatonic accordion or just accordion. In Ireland, it's called an accordion, but in England, we call it melodeon for some reason.
Yeah, I mean that's like a kind of a German instrument combination.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, in fact, one of my instruments is from Italy, but then the older one, which is Hohner, also it's from Germany. So yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah, and he was like, you got to find out which instruments he plays. And I think like watching your videos, I feel like you're playing Suzuki instruments.
Yeah, I mainly play Suzuki, but I'm sort of because of the type of music I'm playing at the moment, I'm having to use a wide range. You know, so I use Lee Oscar harps. I use like the sort of harmonic minor ones. I use Seidel as well and Segel, and so just a kind of wide range really now, which is great. And I play chromatic a bit as well. So and I use Herring and I use Suzuki and etc. I basically try and use ones that are great, useful for the sound I'm trying to make and with the instruments that I play with, with other people, So I think of it. I think of myself less as I sound strange as a harmonica player, but almost like a sound designer. Do you know what I mean? So like it's all about the sound that I can get out of the instrument, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a harmonica sound. It could be all sorts of things, and that's how I sort of grew up thinking as well when I was learning the instrument. When I was very young.
Yeah, that's what I feel like right now too. Like, even if like an instrument is maybe a little harder to play, but you get a nicer sound and tone out of it. Yeah, I would actually prefer that. If you gotta work a little harder to get like a wonderful tone instead of just having to work less and like sounding thin.
Yeah, and the thing is as well with some of the stuff. For example, I've just recently been recording with a percussionist, and I play two harmonicas at the same time. So I just put one on top of the other and play them, and obviously that can sound pretty discordant at times. But I quite like that because it adds to the sound that we're trying to make, and and I've also done it occasionally with the guitarist that I work with, and so it's that's what I really. Technique is great, and obviously I've worked on, tried to work on that for a long time. But it's also about what are we creating as a union, as a duo or an ensemble or whatever, So that's what I try to bring to the instrument, or attempt to at least.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Bruce is tuning in. Good evening, guys, and everyone around the world. Yeah, I'm gonna give you some updates on the European Championships here.
Yeah, it's going great for England. Not.
Yeah. Nice. So the harmonica was actually your very first instrument, or was there something before?
So I'd say it's probably my first instrument. So I actually the reason why I got into it was through health reasons. So I had open heart surgery. I had open heart surgery when I was like a baby. And when I was very young, and so when I was growing up, I had like breathing problems, like as a result of that. And then when I was about 10, I was about 9 or 10, a friend of mine who also played harmonica gave me one, and with the doctor's recommendation, said, "Why don't you try that? It'd be good, for breathing." And I tried the instrument, and I immediately just felt an affinity with the sound of the instrument. And that was it. And I was just like, that's what I want to play.
Yeah.
And even at that stage, I mean, obviously I was only 10, and I just always wanted to be a musician. So like this was like the key, I guess, to get into the door, and you go through the door and go, this is my instrument. And and actually, when I was growing up, it sounds quite strange. I didn't listen to many harmonica players, and that was not because I didn't, like them or anything. It was literally like I want to learn lots of different sounds, lots of different instruments, and try and take that into my playing before like opening up my ears to other players. So that I had my own style before doing that. So I'm quite rhythmic because I used to play percussion, and etc. And quite chordal sometimes because I play piano, and squeeze box. So that was the kind of way I got into it. It was through
you
health
did
reasons, really.
some interesting rhythmic stuff though when you just check the mic. Yeah,
yeah.
you should do something again for the people watching.
Yeah, I'll just show you a few little rhythmic things. So when I'm playing like trad music, if I'm playing like a reel or a jig, I will sometimes try and imitate what the guitar would do. So for example, so
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really
that
cool.
It's just like, and the thing is with bluegrass as well. I heard it in bluegrass, with the mandolin players or the guitarists who were chopping. I love that sort of element, and I play a little bit of gypsy jazz as well, and you have that sort of rhythmical, element to that music, and I sort of wanted to learn that, and respond to it, I guess.
Yeah,
it's
and with
great.
all those percussive sounds, it's like it feels like a modern kind of vibe.
Yeah,
It makes
totally,
things more
yeah.
modern, definitely.
Yeah, and absolutely. There's one track which I did quite recently where, in fact, it was I say recent, it was actually a few years ago now, with an accordion player, and it literally starts off with not quite beatboxing, but what I call mouth percussion, because I'm not a beatboxer, but
Yeah.
and it's literally the accordion playing the riff or the rhythm, but I'm also like matching that rhythm with triplets and before going into the tune, and I just love that. And also with different time signatures, it's great as well. Like doing it in 7, I love doing that. To be able to play the rhythm in 7, and or 11 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Wow, but that's like beautiful and interesting that you got into the harmonica for basically health reasons. Like,
Yeah.
what are the advantages that you could tell people out there right now from your experience?
Well, I guess over the period of time, obviously it took a long time, probably up until I was like 18, like over a period of 8 years, my breathing gradually just got better because I would do breathing exercises, particularly at the beginning, like the sort of first 4 or 5 years, less so now, but I just did, lots of different breath exercises, and also just like taking it slowly. So like not playing fast immediately, like playing slowly, building it up. So, and interestingly, I think personally, I don't know whether you've experienced this, but playing slower tunes with longer notes is sometimes harder breath control wise than playing the faster stuff, right? And so the faster stuff in a way is slightly easier now to a certain extent, depends what it is, but the slower stuff, if I'm playing, for example, like a classical piece of music, like the Lark Ascending by Vaughan Williams, there's some longer notes in that, and so you have to have good breath control for something like that. I would not have been able to do that definitely in the first 4 years of playing, even if I could learn the notes. It's just like longevity and like keeping the tone right and all that kind of thing. It just takes time, but it's a great way for anyone to get into playing the instrument. It's great. Even if you don't have heart problems, it's still good for your breathing. I think.
Yeah, because like even throughout COVID, I had some people, or they were posting about it, they got some of these medical kind of things, like looking kind of toyish, like they had to blow into, and then these 3 little balls in their lift or something like that.
Oh, really? Right. That's mad.
You could just give them harmonicas.
Yeah, it's so true though. But what's interesting actually, after the pandemic, I had a few friends who played wind instruments, and they experienced something. So I remember doing my first proper gig after the pandemic, like full on concert, and it was when the accordion player that I sometimes work with, Eddie, and we play like quite short but very up tempo music, like short pieces. And I ran out of breath on stage, and it was very surreal. And I actually went to the doctor, and he said, actually, this is quite normal. It's just that you haven't played at proper professional level for like 2 years, not like gig level. And so it affected quite a few friends of mine who had sort of, played wind instruments, whether it was saxophone or clarinet or whatever. They all suffered from it. So it's really interesting. But maybe I should have practiced more in the pandemic.
But yeah, it's very true. Like about the slower stuff, like it can be really hard to play something like air on the G string.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good test as well. Like we play, so in some of the folk music I play, like we have like what they call Northumbrian airs. So like pipe tunes that are like airs, and they're really slow and they have really long notes. So like lasting for, quite a while, And I think I also do an exercise where I hold a note for about a minute. So, for sort of 60 seconds, and not a circular breathing. I can't do that. But that taking it as far as I can, and it's just a good exercise. I mean, it sounds awful, but when you're doing it on your own,
right.
but it's good. It's good practice. It's good practice to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually like quite a common question after concerts, like people coming up and being like, oh yeah, are you using circular breathing?
Yeah, the amount of times I've had that question, I'm sure you have as well.
But like, it's like, basically it's not needed at all for harmonica playing.
No,
so,
it isn't. No, it isn't. Yeah. But it's fun when they ask it. You have to explain, no, I'm just holding my breath for absolutely ages.
Yeah. So Bruce got some questions too. He asks, how did you pull off Blackthorn Stick and Irish Water Woman? What harps were you using on this number? Do you often switch harps during a song? It's amazing.
Cheers. Thanks, Bruce. I do. It's a really interesting question with the swapping harps. So yes, I do it quite a lot, depending on the kind of tunes we're playing. So like I can play on one harmonica, like quite chromatically on the diatonic. So I use Paddy Richter tuned harmonicas invented by Brendan Power. And I've used those now for quite a few years because they're great for trad music and music I play. So, so in that particular track, I used two harps. So I had one in B flat and one in E flat. Because a lot of trad music is usually played in like, not in the flat keys, But I really like that warm sound of like B flat, E flat, A flat. I really like those sounds. And the harmonicas just sound really warm and nice. And so, just swap. But it's interesting. I do in one track that I play with in classical music. So I do Jupiter by Holst. In that one, I'm using 6. And it's not necessarily just for the melodies. It's for, the type of sounds I want to get, and the chords. Because Jupiter has like crazy amount of key changes. Holst is well known for just like changing the key at random. So that's so I do swap a bit. So I don't play the harmonica like particularly chromatic in how normally chromatic players would play it, which is learn every key on it. I use it more like an overtuning on a guitar. And so I play my chromatic exactly like I play my diatonic.
Yeah.
Which is kind of bit funky, and that's the way I like playing it, and it kind of works for what I do.
What's your chromatic instrument or model of choice?
That's a really interesting question. So years ago I used to have herrings, but the reeds would run out quite quickly. But I don't know what they're like now. I haven't played them for a while. But I used to swap the slide over. So it'd have sort of a more Irish music kind of sound. I use Suzuki like now mainly for my chromatics. I have a nice one in F and I have like a big one in C, which I use quite often. And I have one in G as well. But I don't have loads of chromatics. I tend to, I guess like I do try and treat it equally though. But I probably just purely because of the type of music I play, I probably play diatonic like 60% more. And then like chromatic 40%, but it just really depends on what the sound I want, And I have on occasion played both of them at the same time. So like earlier I was saying I played the diatonic and chromatic, and two of them at the same time. Sometimes I do that chromatic or use both, to have both tones kind of there, which is quite fun.
And do you do like any maintenance or customization to them?
No, that's really interesting. So I'm all right in maintaining them. So I can replace reed plates and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I was doing some today. But in
Yeah.
terms of like doing all the scratching, I don't know. I haven't been brave enough yet. But maybe I will. Maybe that's my, well, not a New Year's resolution, but maybe it's an autumn resolution
Yeah.
or summer one. Like to just have a go at it. I guess I've always had people sort of do it for me, or I just have it done for me. Sometimes just because I don't know, been too busy or whatever, and I haven't got that brain space. But I don't know, maybe I'll get on a few spare harps and just have a go at it.
Yeah, that stuff definitely requires some patience. That's true.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
do you do that? Do you do that? Do you do that?
I know what to do with the diatonics, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I only recently started playing a little more chromatic sometimes.
Cool. That's awesome.
But yeah, I wish I would be better or like just have like more knowledge about how to set the chromatics up properly, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know how far they can be improved.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, totally. I've done like the trick of like taking off the reeds a little bit, or like the sort of sticky bits, and and so it means that you can bend a note on the suck, of the high end and the low end. So I've done that on certain numbers, certain holes, and that does tend to work. I've tried that out. That was a bit of a Bryson Brendan actually. He was just like, try that, and it was great. It kind of works. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can replace a valve, you know.
Yeah. Congratulations.
But other than that, like I'm not sure like about like how I want the gapping to be and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's something I would have to learn about.
Yeah, I think it's tricky, isn't it? Because I wouldn't call myself an engineer. And I think some people have to have a certain mind in order to do that, because it's a different set of skills, and and I'd have to put some serious time into it if I wanted to do it. And I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist, I'm not, but I would definitely, if it was my own instruments that I didn't want to wreck, have to put some time aside to get it right. But that's maybe something I can look, at least, detuning them maybe a little bit. I could do that myself. After a while, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you need to make some time for that. That was kind of scary. I went to the Harmonica Festival in Berlin like a month ago or something, and Philip Jers, like right before the concert, he like took apart his harmonicas and like cleaned them or fixed something. Like that's kind of dangerous right before the concert. But I mean, if you got the experience doing that, that's cool. But like before the concert, I don't want to change anything.
No, it's funny actually. I've got a gig coming up in a couple of weeks' time, playing the Planets with the Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra, and like that's obviously it's not exactly an easy gig. So I would definitely not be wanting to change any of my instruments just before going on stage.
Yeah, that's what Perseus Morgan asks. Hey Will, how's the Planet Suite going, mate?
Yeah, it's going great, Piers. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's I've been practicing it today actually. We're doing 4 planets. We're doing Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. So it's quite a lot of information, And also we've written a new piece called Earth as a sort of piece, to play as well in the concert. Because Holst didn't write Earth, so we thought we'd write it. In the style of Holst. Yeah.
So are you playing mostly diatonic on that?
Mostly diatonic. I'm playing a bit of chromatic on I think, which one is it? Mercury. I'm playing on Mercury. Mercury's a bit mad because it's bitonal, and so it's in E and B flat all the way through. So I had a harmonica made actually. I'll just play it here by Sego, and it's great. So I use it in that piece. And it's great because it just means I can improvise purely in that mode, in the whole tone mode, and it's great. They were brilliant though, because I sent them, it's a customized thing. And they were like, "Oh, this is a bit tricky," but it's great.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, like always, as soon as I get like a special tuning, having one of those in my hands, like I feel like, oh yeah, I want to do rhythmic stuff. You know, I want to play around with the chords. Like, I'm not even interested in playing melodies.
No, but what was amazing that came out of that, so in the piece that called Earth that we're doing, like we wrote a sort of waltz, and I think definitely if I hadn't had this instrument, I wouldn't have written it in the way, you know, that. So for example, it just sounds quickly like this. So you know, so just having that mode, it's just great. And I'm a big fan of like having the harmonicas in those different tunings. I think it's really cool because it opens up a whole new world, you know, essentially for the player, you know. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I mean, like, how many harmonica players on the diatonic, at least, play the whole tone scale, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Like, not too many. I mean, I practiced both of them, but you know, like you don't have the chords available, so
no,
that's like a big advantage already. And
yeah, and it means that you can. I mean, obviously, like you say, you can do it on a normal diatonic, which is great. You know, and it has its own thing. That's what I like. That's what I love about the instrument is that you could play. So, for example, if I was playing a Paddy Richter one and I had a B flat harmonica, but I was playing in G major. It sounds really cool because of the type of bends you can do. But then if you get a C harp and playing the same tune, etc., and then if you have and then play it in a different position on another harp, that's what I love about the instrument is that the bends can be so different and you're so open, and also you can play all the modes on one harp as well. You know, all the Greek modes. It's brilliant. You know, it's such a virtual, such a virtual instrument. You know, really, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Harp Maniac asks, okay, which brand of harmonica sounds best for you?
Aren't best? That's a really interesting question. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've played lots of different ones over the years. There was ones years
That's like
ago
basically your preference in like reed material, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've got a particular harmonica that I don't like. I guess like it's more about what works for me at the certain times that I'm, depends on the music, depends on the kind of tone I want. And like, I mean, I think like some harmonicas respond better for me, or just on a personal level for my rhythmical stuff. So like Suzuki is brilliant. Like, and also it's sometimes about the durability of the instruments as well. Like for me, because I play like you, I play every day. And I'm doing gigs and I have to have a spare one of each one, when I'm away. So, and Suzuki's pretty good on that score. Like they last well. I mean, they last as long as they can do. It just depends. So, but then so
do you
I
ever tune your instruments?
No, not really. I haven't tuned them. Yeah. No, I mean they come as I sort of just order them and they come as they are. I did years ago look at getting a Baroque tuned one. But because I was playing with a Baroque ensemble, but I didn't do it in the end. But I'd be quite interested in looking at that again. Be quite mad.
Yeah. I should get into tuning my own instruments.
Oh, really?
It would be good, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be quite good fun. Yeah, but it just depends. I mean, I play with a guitarist quite a lot of the time, and she's a very rhythmic player, and then I play with a vibraphone player. But then she has all sorts of. Yeah, and then she has all sorts of percussion. So it's tuned percussion. So it's like, it's pretty much concert pitch a lot of the time. But maybe I should look at that at some point. It'd be quite interesting to explore.
Yeah, because like right now I'm just like sending them very, very seldomly to my customizer to tune them,
Yeah.
And like
totally,
this is like my diatonics are like, it's a compromised tuning, and I mean playing more and more stuff with orchestras, like you notice. You start to notice.
Yeah, they go, that's not, a sharp's not sounding that good.
And then like usually it's like just like, oh yeah, I'm too flat here, and like if you're too flat, you can't do anything about it.
There's nothing you can do about it.
If you're too high, like on most of the note, you can kind of like
Yeah.
bend them down, and you're like able to intonate yourself. But other than that, yeah. So I'm thinking of like just doing the entire equal temperament thing.
Oh, really?
For all
Right.
of them. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be interesting. That'd be cool.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of playing double stops and chordal stuff, but in the end,
it's a hard one. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because, and I especially think it becomes more obvious if you're playing with a string ensemble, and you're right, right, and that's exactly what I was doing, and recently, it's definitely interesting, especially if you're playing like melodies, things like that. I mean, I was doing quite a lot of double stopping and some of the orchestral stuff, but even then, it's like I mean, in fact, we recorded one of the concerts, so I'm quite intrigued now. I'm gonna have to have a proper listen when it comes through the recording. Go, tuning issues. We'll see.
Yeah. You got any other special tunings like the whole tone tuning you can show us?
I can have a look. So I've got. Let me have a quick look. So what have I got here? I've got various things. I've got a Liaska harmonic. I mean, they're quite popular, but the harmonic minor ones.
Yeah.
So I play quite a lot of sort of Bulgarian type stuff on it. So. Yeah, so that's the other thing I forgot to say. So I do polyphonics sometimes through the harp on some of the orchestral stuff actually, and some stuff I do with duos, and that's really fun. Harmonica is so cool for polyphonics. There was a recording I've done recently, which is Mars, from the Planet Suite, and the first sort of bit I'm doing, polyphonics and playing. I'm actually singing the melody over the top of the root note, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm using a G harp.
Did you ever get into singing into the harmonica while playing draw notes?
I haven't done that actually. I mean, I'm a terrible singer for one thing, but.
But yeah, like that's something I thought of at some point, but like I didn't get too deep into it.
There's a great player called Philip Henry. I don't know whether you've come across him before, but he's a beatbox harmonica player, and he does that singing thing. It's great. And
on
he's
the
a good friend of mine.
inhales.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Because with everything you play, you potentially, at least on the natural notes, you could just sing like third up or whatever, or sixth. Exactly, I know.
Yeah, and it's really cool in Mars because
it could be a nice sound.
Yeah, in Mars it's amazing because the real sort of note in that is C sharp, and it's going G to C sharp, and it's like that real crunch, and it's such a cool polyphonic. It's like, whoa, this is a bit mad, but it sounds cool and it resonates so much. I wonder if I can actually do it. See if I got a G. Yeah. And then also like the.
Oh yeah.
Because I love the Jaws harp. It's great. And I was rubbish at playing it, so I was like, I'll try and figure out how to play it on the harp instead.
Man, now I'm thinking like, why don't I never do this on stage, like doing the singing into the harmonic thing?
Oh, it's great.
That
fun.
would be so cool.
It's great. Yeah, it's great fun, right? And it's like, and it really works with certain songs. So like with that Mars thing, it's just like, because you want it to be eerie and a bit like spaceship like, and so it just has that effect, it's great fun, especially if if it's mic'd up.
Yeah. With
an octave on it, so I sometimes do it. I have a, and so so my mic is a DPA mic, which is like it's tiny, and I just wear it on my, basically on my head.
Okay.
So I don't have a mic like a normal mic. I just kind of use that, and it's great. Because it means I'm hands free essentially. I'm completely hands free, and I can move around.
I love that. I love moving around while playing.
Yeah, totally. It changes the gig for me, because it means you can interact with the other musician in a lot more intense way, and that for me, like, it changes the music dynamically,
Yeah.
So it's a big thing. It's a big thing for me. Yeah.
But like, are you also using that in louder situations on stage?
Yeah. Yeah, actually,
What's
like
your
an orchestra.
experience like being able to hear yourself, or do you do some concerts like with in ears?
So basically, so it depends. So if I'm just playing in duo with the percussionist, we have foldback anyway,
Yeah.
and I just have the mic, and we have a sound person who, is really good at balancing out everything, and he puts an octave sometimes on either on the box space or on the harmonica, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm playing with an orchestra and it's just a string ensemble, I have a really nice amp, a fantastic amp that I've got, and I use that just to like balance out the sound. If it's an orchestra, they're not mic'd, but but we are fully, So and it's bizarrely loud enough, it can take it quite a lot. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, it's a really good mic. So yeah, but I mean, obviously, it's always good to have a if it doesn't work, to have a SM58 every time. They work pretty well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. As a backup.
Yeah. I want to practice that. Like maybe like singing like a sixth below or something.
Yeah,
Just practicing
yeah.
the major scale. Like nobody does that.
Yeah, I know, it's so cool.
I gotta practice like singing while inhaling
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy. So,
I can't get
Yeah.
that one.
yeah, it's quite tough.
That's singing the C on the inhale, right? Can you do
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Oh yeah, there we are.
Almost.
Almost there, yeah. Smashing it.
I can't get that high, like on the
No, no.
inhale.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm definitely going to do some practice now after that. I'm gonna
But it
get into it.
can be cool. I mean, I think there's like some good stuff to be discovered.
Yeah, totally. It's a really. I just obviously over the years just seen brass players use it a lot, and so I've been like, that'd be so cool on the harp. So just on the odd occasion I've done it,
Yeah.
and
And I mean, if you practice singing these notes on the inhale, like
yeah,
you can
great.
can be
You
a
could do
beast
harmonies.
doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
could do like a harmony. I'd be interested to know if other harmonica players have tried that actually. Yeah, I'd be
I
interested.
mean, I'm sure, but
I'm sure, yeah.
that's like you should also like start practicing just talking while inhaling.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I mean, that would help for the harmonica technique then.
Yeah, it definitely would. Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to intonate on the inhale singing.
Yeah. I definitely think the inhale is like particularly a lot harder, isn't it? Than yeah, totally. Cool.
That's
Well, I
some
know
good
what
stuff.
tomorrow's practice regime is going to start in with.
Maniac asks, what is the most listened piece by yourself on social media or Spotify? You
Ooh,
got like a
I've got
hit
some
song out there?
I guess the one that's probably most listened to in terms of tracks is probably years and years ago. I did. I was on the Christmas #1 here in the UK, and it was called the Hillsborough Charity Single, and it had Paul McCartney on it.
Yeah.
I had Robbie Williams and people like that. So I played the harmonica part on that. So that's probably the most. Had thousands and thousands. In terms of my own music, yeah, there's quite a few. So I guess I did an album called Ignite with Eddie J, and that's had quite a lot of traction. That's on Spotify. I did a European album, which was in response to Brexit, which was really good, right? Not. So I and I learnt a tune from every single EU country. And I was lucky enough to play with the percussionist Evelyn Glennie on that, which was she's world famous. So so that there's a few tracks out there. But I mean, the more hits, the better. So people get in and listen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody, check out the description box below to follow on social media and listen on Spotify and that stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think, it's, the more the better.
Yeah. Man, I'm a huge Robbie Williams fan, not gonna lie.
Oh, that's cool. I played on a couple of his albums.
Yeah.
Because I work occasionally with his songwriter, Guy Chambers. Guy I know quite well. In fact, I was in his studio quite recently, doing some of my own music, and I was using his studio. I played on a couple of Robbie's albums, and in fact, on one of them, his album Heavy Entertainment Show. I can't remember what the track's called now, but I played bass harmonica. It's a Suzuki bass, which was really fun. And then a harmonica that was a chromatic that was in F sharp, which was that was really fun. So just the whole song was in F sharp major, and I'd never really played the bass before that recording session, so that was a bit of a how does this work kind of moment. But really fun. No, really, really fun.
Man, like who knows? Like maybe I've heard you have a harmonica playing on one of those albums.
Maybe, yeah. And
my mom was like still a huge Robbie Williams fan.
Yeah.
And that was like always playing in the car. Always,
Yeah. So
I really got into some of that stuff.
Yeah, so I was on so it's not his last album, but the album before that. So that would have been out in about 2020, I think it was 2020.
Okay. That's more recent,
one. Yeah. So that was the latest one, I think. And it was great fun. Yeah, really good fun.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember which album that was, but that was like early stuff.
Yeah, there was a
2024.
I think there was an album years ago. There was another harmonica player on one of Robbie's earlier albums, I believe. I can't remember his name now, but this is before I met Guy, and I've known Guy for a long time, but 10 or 11 years now. But so I've done bits and bobs of session work for him.
Yeah, when I was a fan, that was 2005 when I was 10.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, I was. How old was I then? I was 18. So
yeah, and I was listening to Intensive Care. And like today I'm thinking like, why did I like that album? And now I found out like it was Bob Clearmountain who mixed it.
Amazing. Well, there you go.
So now I'm like, oh yeah, it all makes sense.
Brilliant.
Another question, do the violins tune to your harmonica, Will?
Yes. So I would so they do.
That's really
we were talking
good.
about the tuning. We were talking about the tuning thing earlier.
Yeah.
And so if you're the lead instrument, they do. So that's
amazing.
That's what happens. Yeah, it tends to what happens.
The orchestras I played with, like, they never tuned to my harmonica, man.
Next time, force them into it. Like, come on, you're going with me.
Like, how can I force them into doing that, man?
I don't know. I think it's a tricky thing, isn't it? Because I think if it depends on what the occasion is and what, you can't really expect a whole orchestra to tune just to one tiny instrument that's like that. You can't really expect the bass trombonist to do that. It's like, come on, guys, or the strings.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure I would have sounded a little better in some occasions,
Yeah, it's interesting actually. In the lineups, I'm trying to think of the lineups over the year. I have played with fiddle players a lot. Fiddle or guitar or double bass. So yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I'm trying to think if I've ever done recording sessions where we've had to sort of, do essentially an auto tune. I can't think of anything specifically, but there might have been the odd note. I do remember years ago doing a recording session and one of my notes it just went flat, but the engineer heard it and was like, right, I'll sort that particular note out, and he did, and it was like magic.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you wouldn't have known.
I got some Melodyne notes on my albums.
Oh really? Right. Yeah.
Maybe one or two.
Yeah, it happens, right?
That's all good. Like everybody uses that stuff.
Yeah, totally.
and it's cool, and it sounds so good.
Yeah, I know. It just sounds sweet, doesn't it? Yeah, it's
Funny
brilliant.
thing, I mean, but I told this before, like it's cool, like if you put autotune on your headphones, and like you
Oh
got
yeah.
like closed headphones, and you just crank up the volume, so you basically can't hear your original harmonica signal. So you just hear the
amazing.
autotune, and you crank
Whoa.
it, and then you have like a C harmonica in your hands, but you
Yeah.
just set the autotune to like F sharp major pentatonic. You know, like something that's like
That's
super
it.
far away.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it's like having like holding like a completely different instrument in your hands.
That's kind of mad.
It's
That's
sick.
kind of mad. I'm gonna try that. That
It's
sounds
like-
that sounds really fun.
I played like a really cool solo doing that at some point when I
Right.
was just like experimenting and like
Yeah, 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 yeah. I tell you what, I really love doing is in talking about it's like just doing harmonica overlays like on my recording gear. So just trying out different harmonies and different chords and different textures and all that stuff. Like essentially building up like a string quartet but of harps.
yeah.
I love doing that. And I don't read music.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is by ear. I don't read music at all. So I have to do it all by ear, but it's really fun, experimenting with that. I might have to do some more of that actually because it's great fun.
Yeah. I never really got into that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm also just like missing like some lower tuned harmonicas to do some of that stuff.
like the bass things.
Yeah.
Well, what I tend to do is I have my melodeon here. So what I will do is or the piano. I've got a keyboard here, I can play on, like I see yours there, and so so I'll just put some backing in. But then I'd have
Oh, yeah.
four harps sort of doing their thing. Either doing the rhythm, sometimes doing the tune or harmony. So yeah, it's good fun.
But that's interesting that you don't read music. I just posted
No.
about like my instruction book being published soon, and somebody was
Yeah.
like, "Good luck. Was it your purpose to also teach people how to read music? I play by ear."
Oh right.
And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, it's like it's supposed to be part of that series of the book. It wasn't my decision,
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And he was like, "Pointless. All I ever needed to know was shown by numbers and arrows. I am great on harmonica and cannot read music."
Well, I mean,
So yeah, I mean, of course you
everyone
could do
learns
with that.
but everyone learns in their own way, right?
Yeah.
I don't begrudge people who read. I think it's great. I wish I could, but I just don't. And it's
Yeah.
it's a really
I wish I
interesting
could read
process.
better than I do.
Yeah, but I mean, we all have different ways of learning. Essentially, going to the same thing, right? That's the same thing we're going towards. Just learning to play music. And
Yeah.
so, for example, the percussionist I work with, she's like an amazing reader. So she will analyze the music, send the melodies to me. So, like for the Planets, for example, obviously that's a big orchestral score. So I've been listening to it nonstop. On my headphones or whatever, getting it in my head, and then I learn all the different melodies, of the planets, and that she sends me, and then I break it down, slow it down, learn it, memorize it, and then, but it's just another way of learning it. It's not a right or wrong. It's still the same language.
Yeah. As
so-
long as it sounds good.
Exactly.
It's cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's great if you can do both.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
And
but
I think
if you
it doesn't hurt if it's part of a book,
No, I mean I think
So,
like
yeah.
having some musical notation. I mean, for example, I did a similar thing to that where I had like a load of tunes and I just had them written out for me because even though I can't read, loads of people do. So
Yeah.
yeah. Why
I mean, the
wouldn't
only thing is like, to be fair, like the notation system in terms of like the rhythmic values,
we? Yeah.
you could say that's kind of some outdated stuff because it's like just represented by symbols,
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
ways of visualizing that would be way more easy to understand.
I tell you what was really funny was seeing the score that from the Planets, so our version of the Planets and Mindelias, but with the orchestrator because he orchestrated our parts as well, and it was hilarious seeing what with the double stopping and all the rest of it. It was just kind of mad to see the rhythmic sort
Yeah.
of. To someone to read that and be like, this is how it works. It'd be kind of cool to hear someone do that actually, just to read it and see how they interpret, what I've sort of put down. It'd be fascinating. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, because like I'm just thinking of like children maybe like learning piano in that way, like just like the MIDI kind of thing. You got these videos where the MIDI roll is just like rolling through, and then like you can actually visually see like how long is that note, you can't totally. With standard notation. It's just a symbol.
Totally. I do read it's ABC, so like which is like a sort of interesting notation system, and so that's just with letters and symbols, but it just takes me time because I'm dyslexic and dyspraxic, so it just takes me time, so I've started learning a little bit of Bach doing that, and because obviously I wouldn't be able to read the notation, and I could hear it, I could listen to it and learn it that way, but I was like, I wonder if there's a way I can read slowly just using a different system, and it's starting to work, slowly go in my head, but I've survived so far without reading music so far.
Yeah. Hopmaniac asks, what direction of music are you going these times, Will? What is your name target at the minute?
That's a really interesting question. So in terms of the music, I'd say quite recently in the last year and a half, I've been doing, I would say, classical, which is unusual because I come from a trad music background, so traditional music, Irish music, English music, Scottish music. So I still have that. So I'd say half and half. So but I also play gypsy jazz, and I don't play gypsy jazz on albums and stuff. I've done the odd track, but I love that music. And I would say bluegrass. I've done quite a lot of bluegrass over the years. So I say at the moment, I'd say it's like trad music, which is what I've always kind of done. And that's like Irish to Scottish to English, Welsh, Cornish, whatever. But also Bulgarian. But then I've also done, in the classical, it's like Handel, Holst, Vaughan Williams, those kind of composers. But Bartok as well. So it's a real mixture. But for me, it's not about necessarily what the harmonica like I was saying before. It's about sound. It's like being a sound designer. So it's not about a particular musician that I'm aiming for. It's like what's the whole thing here? What is it? It's about the sound, and it's not about sounding so unique or whatever, that overused word, but I just want to create something that's special for people to listen to, and using the instrument as a vehicle to do that, and that's not just with the harmonica, that's with my box, quite, with the melodeon or with whatever, and that's how I kind of think,
Yeah, I mean, even if you think about pop music and production, and it's all about how things sounds now.
Yeah, totally.
It's less about which kind of chord progression you're using. I mean,
absolutely.
You just got 4 chords, but it's about sound design and all that other stuff that makes music interesting.
Yeah, so for example, I was if I play, I'll just see if I can grab 2 harps at the same time.
I wanted to ask you about what's your preferred way of switching quickly between 2 harmonicas?
So I have usually, if I'm playing a gig, I have a shirt and I have a pocket there, and I just flip, and I'm really quick. I've got used to it.
That makes sense.
If I'm playing the classical stuff, I have a tray beside me.
Yeah.
And then one of the things, I'm playing the box, switching the harmonica, and then playing the triangle. So that's quite in ascending. So that's quite mad. But and also when I've had to sort of learn how to play, because sometimes I'm playing the bass and the melodeon, but then holding 2 harps at the same time with one hand and then playing them. So that's been quite interesting. So let's see if I can just find 2 harps that will work well together. If I use E and definitely not A flat, that would sound horrible. I've got an A1 here somewhere. Here we go. So this is an E and an A harp. So I do use these quite regularly. So I literally play them like that, and I can play sort of melodies.
That's a really cool sound. Because like you automatically get these, just like the stacking of the thirds with these chords.
Yeah, it's sick. And also you can do like, and then obviously you can play any combination.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. So if I was using the whole tone harp, this might sound horrible with an E harp, but
I mean, but that thing reminds me of. Let me grab that one. This is like somebody called this true chromatic tuning.
All right.
And it's like a circular tuning, and it's like basically does that. Like it's just like stacks up these thirds.
Whoa,
it's
that's nice.
half valve.
All right.
Man, maybe it's not here. Oh, here it is.
Found it.
Yeah. This is like a gold melody.
Yeah.
With a wooden comb. Beautiful.
Ah, sick. Oh, yeah. So it's got a similar kind of sound, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you got like whatever, like minor 11th chords or something.
Yeah.
And that's just a whole step up, I think.
That's fantastic.
So that's really cool, and it's circular, so you just move up your breathing patterns 2 holes, and then you already play in a different key.
Oh, that's sick.
And if I just put that up, like playing 2 holes higher. Two more.
Yeah, and then 2 more. Ah, that's brilliant. That's a really cool harp.
I never figured it out, but the chords are cool.
That's
cool
it.
sound.
In fact, I'll see if just give me a minute. I've got another harp just over in the other part of the room, and it's Brendan sent me it, and it's a diminished tuned harp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I won't be a minute.
Kind of feels like second position. It's almost like playing in second position.
Yeah, that's great.
And I love the valve blow notes.
Yeah, they're cool. Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. That's great sound. So this is a Lucky 13 diminished tuning.
Oh yeah.
By Brendan, and it's really cool. I haven't used it much, but I wrote a sort of very almost. So what I do with some of the tunings that I get is I don't necessarily use them in a conventional way. So if I have a book that says learn all these different scales on it, what I sometimes do is I play it the same way as I play a Paddy Richter tuned harp. So.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll write tunes on it. But I use this particular harp in Mercury as well. Actually, it's great. Even though it's diminished tuning.
Yeah.
It's just such a cool harp, and can do.
Yeah.
It's just great fun to play, But I don't use it loads. But I did write a tune on that for vibraphone. It was like quite a contemporary kind of piece of music, and and it was and I turned up to the first session, and my musical partner Delia said, what tuning are you in? I said diminished tuning. Just like, oh, now I see.
Right.
And I was not expecting that on a harmonica. But it's great. I love all
that
those
was
different
like
tunes.
a gig I had to turn down.
Right.
It was like I came back from the harmonica festival in South Korea,
Yeah.
and then somebody in Berlin got in touch, and they had like a festival, and there was like a piece that had to be played in a duo setting with violin
Right.
and chromatic harmonica,
Wow.
and it was
okay.
and I was just like, oh yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
I love
sounds
everything
cool.
about South Korea, and like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would love to be part of the festival. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then they sent me like the sheet music and like could like check out like
Yeah.
past performance of the piece, and that was so contemporary. I would have
It's totally out
had
there.
to spend like so much time practicing that on the chromatic because like I'm not a
Yeah,
chromatic
yeah.
player,
No.
so
I get it.
I just
get
couldn't
it.
do it.
Yeah. It's totally mad, some of that stuff, isn't it? Yeah. I
That
just
was
basically
weird.
cheated. I just cheated and used this harp instead. And so obviously I wrote it, so obviously it's a bit easier, isn't it, when
Yeah.
you write something contemporary. But yeah. But I
Oh,
know,
be
but
happy
it's mad.
refers back to you playing the A and the E, right?
Yeah.
Do you play both harps at the same time? Like you open your mouth enough for them to fit in your mouth?
Yeah. So I basically I'll show you again. So where did I put that A harp? Somewhere else. Lost it now. Anyway, yeah. So if I just play a B minor and E harp, which this could sound quite interesting. So I'm using, that's a quite cool thing. You can use any type. So these are two different brands. So I love that. I quite like that combination.
Yeah, got some interesting sounds.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I never did that myself.
yeah.
Now I got like a C and a G, like trying to get like
That'd be cool.
just like a fourth apart, so I'm getting
Yeah. And the other thing
like
you can
darker
do
sounding stuff than like a fifth
is
apart.
you can do that.
Yeah.
Obviously with it as well. Yeah, and I use it. I mean, it's about the sound, as you're saying. It's like about what texture am I doing. It's not just the melody. It's like what textures can I do. And so, for example, I'll play things like. And
Yeah.
you do that with two harps. Like it's quite a.
Yeah, that's like the piano player exploring different voicings.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
Some like a major third apart.
Yeah. So like, yeah,
I
it's
want to
just
try a hold step.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of bluesy, right?
yeah. There you go.
And I mean, you could do the half step on the chromatic by just pushing in the slide a half.
Exactly, yeah. And so so you can sometimes play the chromatic. So I've got what's this one? This is. It's quite hard to do, but like
That's a really interesting sound.
yeah, it's using the diatonic and chromatic at the same time. It's just about experimentation, and and I wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily do it necessarily on a gig, but it depends what you're doing. It depends what the sound you're trying to create.
Yeah. Man, nice. That's really cool.
It's good fun.
Yeah, B. Hoppy says, that's amazing. I love when people think out of the box.
Absolutely, yeah, totally.
Yeah, for you football fans out there, still no goal between Spain and Italy.
Oh, really?
Pretty boring stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not like that Germany-Scotland game, eh? That was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think like now people are getting excited. Like
Yeah.
right before the tournament, like I didn't really
Yeah.
feel like this excitement of
No,
German
same
people
actually. Yeah,
about the
yeah,
event
yeah.
and stuff. But like now,
Yeah.
with these first two matches, like you kind of feel,
Yeah. Yeah, totally. England played terribly earlier, by the way. They were playing against Denmark, and it's not our best game by a long stretch.
yeah, yeah, they're amazing harmonica players though in Denmark.
Yeah, yeah. There's a guy. Is it Joel Anderson from Sweden?
Oh yeah, he's from
Like,
Sweden. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and like he made me a harp.
Oh, sick. Which one?
Yeah, it was like I haven't got it with me at the moment. But it was a low D and a low D. Yeah, it's
Like an
ridiculous.
octave
Yeah,
harmonica,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. You can hear it. So there's if you go and listen to on Spotify or on YouTube, there's a track that I do with Jen Butterworth on our album. It's called Volume One, and it's on Spotify. And if you go and listen to the track that's called Beggar Man, I use it on that. So
Okay.
and it's a really good example and I'm going to have another one made by him, hopefully at some point, which is in Paddy Richter tuning. So I had it just in a normal tuning, and it was great. It sounds so growly,
Yeah.
like at the bottom end. I love that sound. I mean, I love high pitched harps, but I also love that warmness and the growl as well. I love that sound.
Yeah. Yeah, we met at the Harmonica Festival in Berlin for the first time, and he brought this, like his now state-of-the-art diatonic
Yeah.
and chromatic.
He's
And
fantastic.
I tried them. I tried the diatonic. It was in D, I think. And
Yeah,
the chromatic, like the 14 hole.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the ones, like the Joel Anderson harmonica.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was incredible.
He's a master. He's a master.
That was
Joel.
really cool. Like
Yeah.
just nerding out with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's great. I mean, he's a great maker, and the one he made for me was spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he'll only get better and better.
Yeah.
And the one that it was really funny because before he made it for me, he'd made like another one that was similar, and he sent me a video, and I was just like, how is that even possible? The sound the sound that he got. And when it arrived, and then it was so nice because I did this track and then I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh, this is so cool to hear it, played by someone else, and hear that, how it can really, really, sound." And he's a great player himself, trad music. It's really good, So yeah, it's brilliant, great maker. Yeah, it's really good to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm really like still feeling the inspiration from that harmonica festival because, like,
Yeah,
I don't know, like just like now 2024, I actually feel like there's like a new generation of players and
yeah, me
new
too.
makers of instruments, and like it both like just
Yeah.
they both push themselves, and like
Yeah.
the younger players have like new influences and
Yeah, it's
sounding
great.
different kind of.
Yeah, it's really good. And what's nice for me is that, on the folk scene here at least, there hasn't been many people of my age playing the instrument. But in the last sort of couple of years, I've met like a couple, and I've got I know three people, who are younger than me, who are playing harp, and it's just brilliant. They're playing all sorts of different things, some folk, some classical, some blues. So I've got a friend of mine, Liam Ward, who's like,
Yeah.
and he's great and great player, and Piers actually, who was on earlier, he's a great player himself, so he plays classical and he plays folk. We met actually for the first time a few weeks back, and it was, it was great, and so it's there are some players coming through, and it's really good. It's really good to see.
Well, what's some music you are listening to at the moment? Like, how do you like to consume music, and what's in your playlist?
On my playlist, it really varies. So sometimes it's like dance music, so like techno, and then like it could be Slipknot, or it could be Limp Bizkit, or it could be La Botte and Siriante, who are like a band from Quebec. So like more like traditional music. Or it could be Bach, or it could be the Beatles. Big fan of the Beatles. They're just amazing, and or it could be. Yeah, it could be all sorts of types of music. It doesn't matter what it is, because what I'm looking for is like, what sound can I get out of that? Even if I don't like the track,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because there's always something good you can take from something and go, that's really cool. I want to learn how to do something. So it could be a banjo or it could be a sitar. Like I listen to lots of Indian classical music, as well. And like, years ago, I came up with a technique of playing quarter tones on the chromatic, just using a sort of breathing technique. Let's see if I don't know whether I've got a chromatic that can do it really here on me right now. Yeah, I haven't got a chromatic on me at the moment that does that. But yeah, so, just certain ways of, it's just sound, isn't it? And like, so yeah, in terms of music and listening to music, quite open, even to music I don't like. I think that's a good thing to listen to music you don't like sometimes,
Not too much though, yeah, but like
no, not too much.
Yeah, that's true.
Stephen Grappelli, like that swing jazz, and like Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald. So like I also think like when I'm playing, like I'm also want to have that expression that a voice can have as well. So like Ella Fitzgerald is like, amazing, and she has that vocabulary that's like really good, and so that's the sort of tone I'm sort of aiming for. It's like but that's just one tone, but that's sort of how I think,
Yeah. That's cool. That's interesting. Yeah. So, I'm not sure if there are more questions in the chat. Everybody, if you're watching, check out the description box. You can find all the social media links in there. And also the announcement for our little harmonica challenge this month. First time of us doing the chromatic harmonica challenge. So
brilliant.
I mean, if you don't have a chromatic harmonica this time, it's hard to participate. I'm sorry, we're only doing this single time, but yeah. I'm also like getting more into the chromatic, so I thought it would be cool. And I'm still gonna record a little announcement video, and you can win a Hohner expression this time.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
Yeah. I love the chromatic because it does so many different things, and I do use it quite a bit on my trad gigs. So like I have an F harp, and like it's great for like G minor and D minor and those keys, and I really like it actually. So I do play chromatic quite a bit.
What would you recommend for people who wanna? Yeah, who started out on the diatonic and wanting to make the transition, or maybe just adding the chromatic to their repertoire, kind of like what's the biggest challenge or the stuff to practice?
So I started them at the same time, and I think that's quite a good way into it. Rather than thinking diatonic easy, chromatic hard. I mean, it depends on obviously the kind of music you want to play as well, slightly. But I think like for me, I don't try to think of them as hard and easy. I try to think of them, they're both at first hard, but then they both become easier and I think it's quite good learning at the same time because you can see the differences and see the similarities, because they have both, So the guy who lent me a harp, for when I first started playing, he said he did give me some good advice because he played chromatic as well, and as well as diatonic. He was like, try both of them at the same time, and I played tremolo a little bit as well, badly. So I tried lots of different things out. But yeah, I'd say try them at the same time. Like, don't be afraid to give chromatic a go right at the beginning because that's my belief. Everyone will have a different opinion on that, but that's what I sort of think.
Yeah, I would feel that way too nowadays.
Yeah,
like
that's great.
Like even like the few schools out there that are just trying to start to maybe make it possible to actually study the instrument like as a main instrument and stuff. Like their thought is also, you got to do both. Yeah. You got to get lessons on the diatonic and on the chromatic.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's really useful because it's more they give different tonal qualities, don't they? And they have different. It's just, I mean, they are quite different instruments, but they're similar and different at the same time. That's what I love about them.
Yeah.
So like, and you can obviously have them in different tunings and things like that. And there's one that Brendan invented a few years ago. It's Chinese, tune.
Right.
Just like insane. It's just great, So you can. That's the thing, they all do different things, and the development of the instrument is just ongoing all the time, isn't it? I mean, I see updates from, I'm not too involved in the harmonica world in some respects, but I'm obviously keeping an update on what's going on, and it's quite fascinating seeing the development of instruments. It's incredible, really.
Yeah,
it's good. It's really, really good.
That's true. All right, very cool. I think we covered some good stuff. And,
we definitely did.
Yeah, checked out some stuff that's interesting and did some playing. So that's cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Everybody out there watching, we got another Hohner Live next week with Kim Roca. And yeah, I think during that hour, we're also going to talk a little bit about harmonica and health, which is a cool topic. He gives a lot of workshops about that, combining the harmonica with yoga and everything, and meditation. So that's a really cool
wicked.
one next week. And check out the description box and get ready for the Chromatic Harmonica Challenge. That's on Sunday next week. So you got time during the weekend to record. But I'm gonna upload a little announcement video this tomorrow. Yeah. All right, Will. That was super cool. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, no worries. And it was great fun to chat. And hopefully we'll meet each other in person at some point at a festival.
I'm sure. Great. Yeah.
Okay, take care.
Cool. Everybody out there, have a nice evening. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
My lady, you know me, no fi give up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward ever, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wanna wait in this up. It's not blessing, I'ma not be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. Rara, rara. I said nobody feel make me feel the way you do. Rara, rara. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check low. Girl, you the best